Uh-huh. No! Oh, please, God, no!
Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 is one of the worst games I ever played in my life. People who were fans of the movies were devastated when this game came out back in 1990. And to just even consider trying to go through this game with no guide and no help and no YouTube, like honestly, what were the developers thinking when they came up with this game? They expected you to beat this game in one go? But this is why I'm making this video today, because I have all this knowledge that I wrote down about the game on how to beat it, and I'm going to help you do it. Whoa, is this Back to the Future, or is Marty McFly stuck in the Mushroom Kingdom with all these Goombas and Koopa enemies? I'm here today to break down the game for you and tell you all about the nooks and crannies that you could find throughout the levels, and even if you never even played an NES game in your life, stick around because I want you to see how BS this game really is. So what are we waiting for? Let's get you on your way to the future. So the first thing that you need to notice when you start is the bottom screen. If you press the select button on your NES controller, the bottom screen will shift to show you more items. When you start off, the items won't be there. It's because you have to collect them. Now let me tell you what those items are. The first bottom screen, which you will immediately see, is the Back to the Future logo, which reminds you that you are in fact playing a Back to the Future game. You start off with 10 lives and you gather pizzas and bottled soda, or maybe beer, which I think it looks like beer. If you collect more than 100, you'll gain an extra life, kind of like in Super Mario Bros. The third symbol that kind of looks like a yo-yo is actually plutonium fuel. This is very important. The reason why is because you need 10 plutonium fuel to time travel 30 years into the future or backwards. And you also need to gather 17 plutonium fuels to go forward 60 years into the future or 60 years into the past. Why 17? Maybe the developers were just odd people who didn't really care for what I thought about the game.
Horny.
Now, if you press the select button, another screen will show up, and this is very detrimental to your progress. On the far left, you have the total amount of keys you collected. And the trophy symbol is basically all the items you need to collect throughout the timelines. There are 30 trophies in Part 2 and 10 trophies in Part 3 of the game. The remote control item you must get in 1985, and it's going to be located on Street 6. The reason why the remote control item is very important to collect is because you call upon the DeLorean to time travel with it. This symbol right here that kind of looks like an egg is actually a tree seed. There's 4 specific areas where you need to plant these tree seeds to get into doors, and they're all located in 1955. I'll explain this part momentarily. And the last item, which is very important, and I emphasize very important, is the compass. You need the compass to locate which street you're currently on, because of course in this game you will get lost. To find the compass, you need to travel to 2015, and it's going to be located on Street 6. So once you get the remote control, which is also located on Street 6, but in 1985, all you gotta do is just time travel with the plutoniums that you have. All you need is 10, and go straight to 2015 and just look for the compass, and then your life with this game should be a little bit more easier. I'm going to explain all the streets right now because this is essentially the meat of the game. You go up and down the streets and jump on enemies to acquire keys to get through doors, beat minigames to get items so that you can return items in other timelines. Also, just a FYI, but when you're going through doors, just remember that up is down and down is up because this game makes no sense with that. So now let me explain this complicated map in Back to the Future 2 and 3 for NES. This map was made by Steven Majorana. Thank you so much for doing this. I had to like edit it in my own way to make the map look more presentable for the video, but thank you once again. So here's the PDF file that I made. I made 3 separate PDF files for the map. There is 3 timelines. You have the 1955 timeline, you have the 1985 timeline, which I'm gonna explain why this is red for in a moment. This is the 2015 timeline. So as you can see, there's 16 streets in each and every timeline. There is about 10 items in every timeline that you have to find. So there's 4 tree seeds that you have to plant in 1955. So there is one in street number 2, street number 9, street number 13, and street number 15. So the sectors are basically the things that you look in your compass. If you are on a specific street and you move to the right, then the sectors will change. Or if you move to the left, the sectors will change as well. So yeah, there's 4 seeds that you have to plant. Basically, when you time travel in 85, you start to see the plant growing. Time travel from 85 to 2015, you will start to see the plant start to grow and grow. This is the reason why I'm bringing this up right here, right now, is because there is 4 streets that you have to plant these tree seeds. The first PDF file that I have here is going to be dedicated to the timeline in 1985. So the orange highlighted marks are basically all the items that you will find in the year 85. And the green highlighted marker is basically where you have to return these items. There's 30 items overall. So the first 10, you will have to look here, but there's some streets that are cut off, and this is where it gets very confusing. Street number 8 in 1985, if I time travel backwards here, I would go to street number 8 in 1955. In 85, I can't reach this because it's cut off. So I would have to go from street number 8 to go to street number 10, and then time travel from street 10 all the way to street 10 in 85. And this allows me to have more access to street 12, street 13, street 15. Okay, oops, how do we get to street 14 and street 16? From street 10 to street 12, time travel to street 12 in 2015, and then go down to street 14 right here. Time travel back to street 14 in 1985, and get the items over here as well. As long as you have this map, and you could find it if you just type in NES guides for Back to the Future 2 and 3. This portion here from street 10 and downwards, this is where people have issues with the game. You can't get to these other streets unless you know like which parts of the timelines will open up. For example, street 10 to street 12, and then going from street 12, you got to time travel from 85 to 2015. And also here as well, like this top part of the map gets very complicated. A good footnote is basically to always come back to 85, because there is portions of the streets you can access here. And usually what I like to do is always try to go back to street number 8 and time travel to here, or time travel to here. You wanna make sure that you can have access to street 10, because in street 10, that's when you start getting to like the lower levels. There's 10 items in 85 that you have to collect. So they don't tell you what the items are when you collect them, and they don't tell you what the items are when you return them. So basically you kind of have to figure out what they are. So yeah, there's an item on street 2, street 3, street 4, street 6, street 8, and then street 12, street 13, street 14, street 15, street 16. The green spots are where you got to return it. So there you go. Map number 2. In 55, there's 10 items as well. So streets that you don't have to be in. So street number 1, street number 3, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is where all the items are located. And you have to return them in 85. Street number 1, street number 5, street number 11, street number 14, 15. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in 85. And on 2015, you got to return the items from the 55 timeline in street number 3, street number 9, 10, 11, and 16. And lastly, we have the 2015 timeline. So the items that you have to collect are located in street number 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15. This is where it gets a little bit hard and complicated. You have to return some of the items in street 16, and this part right here is hard to get. Getting to street 16 here in the 55 timeline is hard. In the 55 timeline, you gotta return items in street number 3, 4, 5, 11, and 16. And here in the 85 timeline, you have to return the items in street number 6, 7, 9, 10, and 16. So this is basically explaining the map system here, and hopefully you understand the game a little bit more now based on what was told here today. Alright, so here's the game, Back to the Future 2 and 3 for NES. So I'm just going to show you like what is needed to be done. In this game, the DeLorean stops you off at street number 8 in 1985. You can go like check around. By the way, this is a plutonium here, so you need 10 to time travel back or forth. And if you want to go from like 1955 to 2015, you need about 6 more of these, 17 in total. If you want to stack up on plutoniums, you can go back and forth through doors, and they kind of like respawn. Also, jump on enemies, and oh, you need to get those keys, by the way. So if you look at the arrow right there, it says down, but in this game, down is up. So right now, we're practically either in street number 9 or 10. I'm not sure. You have to look at the map. In order to get inside of the doors, you need keys, which you can find them if you just jump on enemies. But you will not find keys past a certain point on the streets. So like if you go past like street 14, 15, and 16, I don't think you'll be able to find keys over there. So you want to make sure like you collect as many keys around like streets 4 through 10. That's where you want to farm. So make sure to farm as many keys as possible. So now I want to get right back to that door because there's an item that I want to collect. Another big tip for you, and this is very important to understand, but if you lose all your lives, right now I have 1 key, but if I lose my lives, it's gonna reset to 0. So if you have 1 key or 10 keys, it's gonna reset. So let's go inside this door. You will lose life. Alright, so this is our first item. We only have 29 left to go. It shows right there, that's an ice cream soda. And we would have to return this item at a specific timeline. So as you could tell, I just used up my key. So I have 0 keys, but if you look at the trophy, I have 1 new trophy. That will never change. So if I die a lot in the game, I will never lose the trophies, but I will lose the keys. We can't time travel right now. We can't. You want to know why? If I press select, you see these 3 items here? This one, the first one is the remote control. The second one is the plant seeds, and the third one is the compass. We don't have any of these. How do we get the remote control? Let me show you. So if you go here, and I think this is street number 6. I'm not sure, but go on the skateboard, just keep going. Alright, so this is the remote control that we just got. We're currently on street 6. Now that we have the remote control, and by the way, we have 27 plutoniums. So let me explain why that's very important. If you press select and you click on the remote control, the DeLorean will come, and now you have a screen here that shows you the timeline. So if you press down, you can go to 1955. That requires 10 plutonium fuel. But we want to go to 2015 because that's where the compass is. So we're now time traveling to 2015. And where you find the plutonium is right here. I think you might need a key. I'm not sure, but let's see. So that right there is the compass. You need to go get that. That's the first thing you have to collect when you get to this spot. So let me show you how to use the compass now. So now we have the remote control. By the way, the tree seed item, the only way you can get those is when you're jumping on enemies. Sometimes you'll see it in plain sight, but this is something I can't show because I don't know where exactly they are. You just have to keep going. As you're going throughout the levels and timelines, you will find keys and you'll find the tree seeds. So you just have to keep going, and eventually you will find one of here and there. But do not plant the tree seeds in random spaces. That's why you need the compass, because the compass will tell you where you are exactly. We're currently in the year 2015, street number 6, and the X is basically the sector on where we're standing in the location of this particular street right here. So let me show you what I mean. Now, if I use the compass again, I press select. Look at the X. Look. We are on sector 6. We're still on street 6, but now we move to the left a little bit more. And the further that we go, now we're in sector 0. So this is the beginning of this street. Sometimes you'll find items in these little pipes here. So when you want to find items, you have to look through pipes. or those things in the bottom. Okay. Oh god, I'm so happy we got this. Okay. This tree seed here, I'm going to show you what to do with this. First tree seed plant location is on street number 2, but it's hard to access this because, you know, you have to do all this traversing and time traveling. I'm not going to be able to do that in the video, but let's try to go to street number 9. This is the second tree seed to plant. All right, so this is the perfect example. This door right here, I cannot access it because it's way too high. So what we got to do is we have to time travel. We call the DeLorean, and we have to be on this sector 8 or sector 9. So we're going to go back to, we have enough to go back to 55 actually. We're going to plant the tree seed around this location. Here, you click on this, and there you go. All right, so the tree got a little bit more longer now. I promise you, if you follow the map that I showed you today, and you just navigate throughout the whole game, you will beat it. I promise you. The main objective, there you go. Okay, here we go. So you jump on it, boom. Unfortunately, we don't have a key to enter this door. So the main thing about this game is that you just have to keep jumping on these enemies to either get a plutonium or a key or a tree seed. You just have to keep doing that. Hopefully the video has give you a little bit of understanding about this game. And if you like the video, please make sure to comment, like, and share your thoughts and opinions about Back to the Future 2 and 3 for NES. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry I can't really do a full playthrough or a full guide on this game because it's a very long and extensive game. This game does not have a save feature until you beat part 2. So beat part 2, get that passcode, come back to the game, you'll be good. My name is Spirit, and thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a great day, and if you beat the game, please let me know, comment below, or, you know, message me or something. Take care everyone. Godspeed.